are live, ready to start when you are.
Thank you, Rachel, for your help. My name is Louise Adler. I'm chair of Canyon Dems. Welcome to our Zoom meeting. I know we're all getting tired of these and we wish we could be in a room together, and shaking hands and giving hugs would be wonderful, but we're doing the best we can and hanging in here. So thank you for joining us tonight. The first thing we do is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. And so I will say it for all of us, because if we all try to say it at the same time, it sounds pretty funny. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This month is Black History Month, and I was reminded of this by Andy Alexander, and looked up a little information about Black History Month. It's been happening since 1976. And the theme for this Black history is Black family representation, identity, and diversity that explores the African diaspora and the spread of Black families across the United States. And it reminded me of Michelle Obama's biography, where she talked about her family moving to the north to Chicago from the south. So if they hadn't made that journey, there would have been no Obama family. So we're very thankful that they did that. And of course, we are all sad as during this pandemic time when we think about all the deaths, and I know the numbers I put up here had changed from when I put them up over the weekend. But I'm still moved by this scene at looking out from the Lincoln Memorial toward the Washington Memorial, and Joe Biden there speaking. Boy, do we need him. And of course, on a kind of humorous side of something that's sad, Sue Belson sent me this cartoon of Democrats showing evidence to Republicans who only can say one thing: not guilty. When will they ever change? Tonight, we're using a Zoom format. For those of you who are new, you're muted, so we can't hear you, but we can see you in the Zoom. And if you don't want people to see you, you can check the stop video, and it puts a little red line through it, and nobody will be able to see you. Know that whatever you do on Zoom is public. Everybody can see it. What we like to do is have new people who haven't been to our meetings before go on the chat and tell us where you live and how you heard of us. So you can click on this white chat icon here at the bottom that I'm circling with my mouse, and click on it. It won't take you out of the program. You'll still be in the program. It'll open up on the side, and you can type in your name and where you live and how you heard of us. So we'd really appreciate it if you would do that. This is our agenda for the night. And we have a very interesting speaker. So we're going to move through the agenda as expeditiously as we can. The agenda and the minutes and the Constitution that you're going to be voting on were all attached to the meeting notice. So if you're really interested in these kind of ministerial details, you could have looked at it there. The way that we do this is we put these items on what's called a consent list, and we hopefully hold one vote for all the items that are on, have a little box with a check mark on it. So we'll be voting on the agenda, the general meeting adopting the minutes, and the new business. There are two pieces of new business that are recommended by the executive board. The first one is a motion from the executive board to send $2,000 to the Pritchard campaign. And the second is a motion from the executive board to adopt revisions of the Constitution. The revisions of the Constitution, this is Gary Pritchard. He's been featured on previous meetings, so he's not new to you. And we've explained before why his race is so important, because there's only one lonely Democrat on that Orange County Board of Education, and she's just about at the end of her string with frustration. and we need to send another Democrat to help her. And the other item that's on the agenda for the consent calendar is a motion to adopt a revision of the Constitution. Because we are a club that is sponsored or chartered by the Democratic Party of Orange County, we have to make sure that our Constitution and bylaws meet up with their requirements. And it seems like every year they send us new things that need to be in our Constitution. So the Constitution that was posted, the revision that was posted online, had items in yellow that are required by the Democratic Party of Orange County, so we really don't have any choice in those. There were a few items that they recommended but didn't require that are in blue, and there was only one item in green, which is like a sentence long, that was new from the executive board. So if you feel that you require a further discussion of either of those two items, you should go to the chat and request that the items be pulled from the consent list. So we'll give you just a moment in case anybody wants to do that. And I'm prepared to open the whole Constitution and go through it line by line, but I don't think that's what you want me to do. At least I hope not. So Rachel, will you look at the chat and see if anybody has pulled any of those consent items?
So far, no.
Okay.
Another five seconds. Five,
Okay.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Done. Okay, so now we are going to vote on the consent items and the agenda, which is shown here on the screen. And Rachel is going to open up a poll to vote yes or no. And
it's open now. You should see it pop up on your screen.
And
go ahead, and if you're a member, please vote. But if you're not a member, please don't vote.
Yes, and we'll trust you. So please do it as soon as you can. How are we doing, Rachel?
91% voted, 92% voted. So far, we are at, I think we'll go ahead and, looks like that's it. 100% yes, 53 votes.
Thank you very much, everyone. See, that's how you get business done. Quick, quick. We ought to get the Senate to move as quickly. Okay, one of the things that we have been doing that we want to thank you for is you all, many of you, responded to our request for feedback on the survey that was sent out on the website and in our newsletter. 79 people provided answers to the 15 questions between the end of January and the first 2 weeks in February. And here's one example of your answers where you rated how the club is doing in these particular activities. So we're always happy to see excellence ratings. What we do with all this information that you sent in is that the board got a almost 20-page report on the survey, and they're going through it, looking at all the answers to all the questions, and then we will be discussing it at a board meeting. So we're not going to go through all of it tonight, but thank you very much for your feedback, and just know that we are working on it. And tonight we're going to try something new. There's this feature in Zoom that allows people to go into breakout rooms. And so what we're going to do is let our members go into breakout rooms based on your city and your neighborhood. And we'll do that at the end of the meeting. And we're going to be discussing our community focus groups and how you can bring about change. So stay tuned for this at the end of the meeting, where you can join one of the breakout rooms, and know that this is kind of a new thing and an experiment. We think we've rehearsed it and got it all set up, so be patient with us, okay? And we're excited to try that. Annie, you want to introduce our speaker?
Yes.
Oh, let me point out before Annie takes over that if you have questions for the speaker, please type them in the chat. And Annie and Rachel and some other folks are going to be looking at that. so we can try and get as many questions answered as possible.
Yes, thanks, Louise. Before I introduce tonight's speaker, I want to let you know our program in March. Our speaker is going to be Dr. David Snow. He's a distinguished professor of sociology at UCI. He's a renowned researcher and an author. His focus includes the social psychology of extreme poverty and homelessness. He's going to come and talk to us about various aspects of homelessness in Orange County, and I know it's going to be an excellent presentation. But tonight we are so pleased to welcome Sue Parks. She's the president and CEO of Orange County United Way, and Orange County United Way is an unbelievable organization. I've done some reading since before and after extending the invitation to Sue to come and speak with us. And I am just absolutely blown away of the programs that they offer and the extent of them and the depth of them. But I'll let Sue tell you about them. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And I'm delighted to be with all of you tonight. And I'm going to do my best with technology and show my screen. Hopefully I'm doing this correctly. So hold on one second. There, can everybody see a full screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did it right?
Yes.
Yes, so much of life these days is learning the technology. And in my board meeting last Friday, we did breakout rooms with Zoom and everything went smoothly. So I know you're going to enjoy that feature. But I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And it's so wonderful to know you're having Dr. David Snow. He will probably share that a few years ago, United Way and Jamboree Housing commissioned UCI to do a big study on the cost of homelessness here in Orange County. And Dr. David Snow was the lead researcher who did that research for us. And he is just amazing. So I'm delighted. It's kind of a nice follow-up, I think, to some of the things I'll be talking about tonight. So that's great. And many of you probably know of the United Way. You've probably heard of the United Way. Many people know we do good things, but a lot of people don't know what we do. So I'll try to explain, and I'll also say this is today's United Way. United Way here in Orange County has been around 97 years, I think. It's a pretty amazing organization, always focused on human services, human needs in the county. And that work continues, obviously, to this day, with obviously some of the biggest pressing needs are happening right as we speak. It's probably never been more important, the work we're doing, than it is right now. So, so again, let me just kind of take you through a little bit about us. And one of the things I just like to always start at the beginning, and maybe you know this, but every United Way is a separate 501c3, and we're focused on a local community. So we are Orange County United Way, and everything we do here is all about improving lives in Orange County. So there are, I think, 1,400 United Ways around the country. There are more around the world. The great thing is we're part of a network and we can work together. Sometimes corporations want us to help across the country with their social responsibility. They want to do big programmatic things across, and we can work as partners. We share best practices, training, but everything we're doing here has a focus. And our strategic plan was developed with the community. So a few years ago, we brought together business, philanthropy, government, academia, nonprofits, everyone in a room to form a strategic plan for the community. So it's a very collaborative type of organization. But again, separate 501c3 focused on Orange County. As I said, we're focused on human need, focused primarily on education, financial stability, health, and housing. I'm going to take you through, just based on how Annie had made the request, to talk a little bit about everything we do, but I'm going to focus mostly on some of the things we're doing around homelessness and then what we're doing in the pandemic, and then happy to answer any questions. We have a vision that every person in Orange County has a quality education, financially stable, is healthy and thriving, and has a place to call home. And again, right now, those challenges are a bit tricky, but there's a lot going on. We have 3 key initiatives. So we do a lot, but at the end of the day, it's all focused on 3 big things. We have a big body of work we call United for Financial Security. And there's a lot of programmatic work we lead, and most of these we're leading the programs, but we might have collaboratives. So we bring together the right people, whether they're nonprofits or again, research firms or whatever we need to do to make this all happen. But right now, for example, we're in the middle of the OC Free Tax Prep program. Many people don't know that we bring together a coalition. It's like 300 partners, and we lead the OC Free Tax Prep for folks who are income level under the federal poverty level and qualify for earned income tax credits. And so we help normally every year close to 20,000 households with their taxes, and we bring back close to like $21 million worth of tax refund funds and earned income tax credits, primarily to the folks who never knew they had an earned tax credit ready for them. So this is a huge program, a huge undertaking. Obviously, last year we pivoted to go virtual, learned a lot, and that has already kicked off for this year. So those are all around the county in different places. And again, you can find more on our site. I'm not going to go through all of these things that we do, but I do want to highlight a South County pilot because a lot of people ask what we do in South County. And again, we always are working off of data where the greatest needs are in our community, but we have a new program that we've started on financial security, financial training, financial literacy, based out of a grade school in Dana Point. And the reason we like schools is we like to help families keep their children in school. And if a child is pulled from school multiple times because the family can't afford to live in that area, they start losing grade levels, competency, reading skills, and that's going to impact them. So we really want to start as early as possible in some of these, helping with the families. So we have a brand new program that's starting with a goal of helping 100 families. Probably all of those families that we're going to be working with are people that were part of the service community, the working folks that we so want to be successful and thriving, but they were the ones probably at the resorts and the restaurants and all the things that were going on in South Orange County. So big effort there. Again, if you want to learn more about any of these, we're happy to talk about them. We also work on the advocacy and public policy. We, with our United Ways of the rest of California, we've been very closely working with the state in terms of the rental assistance programs and other things that are happening, the advocacy for getting the I-10 filers, to getting their getting tax credits appropriately, et cetera. So lots of other things that we do. But at the same time, we're just trying to drive more awareness, which is why I appreciate being here tonight. So again, lots of work around helping families be financially stable. A huge part of that work right now is going on to, in terms of rental assistance and things along those lines. We have an example of somebody that we helped, and I love this story because it's a real life story of somebody we helped. And I've met Cheryl. Cheryl went through a really bad divorce, ended up in rapid rehousing, meaning that she didn't have a place to live with her family, her children. And so she was in a short-term housing situation, working 3 jobs. And we put her into a program, the nonprofit that she was getting help with knew of a program we have called Upskill. And we're partnered with somebody that is training folks on how to be cybersecurity analysts. And Cheryl just took off. And right now she's working, she's actually making well over $100,000 a year. It's just really an incredible story. This woman was working 3 jobs. But again, taking somebody, helping them out of a situation, training them in a job that allows them to earn a living wage in Orange County is a big part of our work. So that was kind of one of the success stories. And Cheryl's just amazing. And there's many Cheryls out there. We have a big body of work around student success. Right now, we actually have a program where we're mentoring 300 low-income students from high schools that don't have technology, and parents that can help them in terms of getting through their senior year. We went to the Department of Ed and said, what are your biggest concerns back in June? And they're very big concern about this class of 2021 that didn't have the technology support. So We've got mentors going, and for this class, when they graduate, if everybody that's gone through the mentor program, the workshop program, and graduates, we're going to give them a shiny new computer of their very own so that they can take it on to college or, you know, career training, but have something of their own to root for. So again, a big effort there. But normally what we've been doing for the past few years is helping excite students in middle school and high school about jobs that pay enough for them to live and thrive and be part of Orange County. We want people to stay here. I think you all know there's a lot of people leaving the county. We want the students in the community to know that we care. Again, our programmatic work are all around the low income students. But again, this is a big opportunity for all of us in rallying around our students and making sure that they know that this community cares about their success. So we do internship programs in the summer with primarily healthcare companies and technology companies, and inspire young students to see the careers that they can go into and all sorts of things that we do in that particular area. So again, just wanted you to know that in terms of students, we're very wired into school districts that need additional help. And again, the benefit in some cases, all of these things I'm talking about are so interrelated, is that, again, if we can help a student stay in school and thrive, in the meantime, helping their parents with financial stability and helping them get connected to better jobs, it helps the whole family, it lifts the whole community. So those are some of the things that we're working on with student success. But I'm really excited about this class of 2021. It's been pretty amazing. And this is one of the students we're mentoring, Alani. And again, this is just this young woman as her parents are working multiple jobs to fend for their family in this time of COVID. So she's not only learning alone and working remotely to study, but she's now responsible for her two brothers, and they're studying. And anybody that's tutored anybody in this time realize it's a big handful. And again, what she's getting from her mentor is a connection to learn about jobs and workplace and have somebody to talk to in a safe place. And at the end of this program, she'll graduate with a lot of accolades, but also that new computer. So it's been a pretty amazing program. I have a young mentee as well. It's been very inspiring and a reality check to see what these young people are going through, especially when they don't have families that are technology literate. So a lot of work in that area. And then homelessness. So we have a big body of work United on homelessness. And I know that you all know some of this, or some of you have gone to our Homelessness 101 program. I think a couple of folks, I think Ann and Andy are working with one of our team members on housing champions. Again, if some of you want to learn how to be better advocates for affordable housing and permanent supportive housing in our cities, then we have a program to help people understand how to speak to planning commissions, how to speak at city council meetings, how to help be supportive and move the no's, the NIMBYs into a positive, have positive professional folks that can go and speak about these key issues in our local cities is really key. And it helps the electeds note that the communities are behind them. So big opportunity. If you hear housing champions, please get involved. But probably the biggest program that we've done that's really kind of changed, I think, Orange County and our perspective on homelessness is our Welcome Home OC program. So I'm going to go back to the study that Dr. David Snow, who you're going to hear from, helped lead this research. And out of this research, we learned a lot, and we probably need to refresh it, but it's still very relevant. Obviously, everything before COVID seems like a distant past. But anyway, at the time when they did the study a couple of years ago, we learned that it costs Orange County like $300 million, and that goes with the emergency rooms and the police support and the nonprofit community and the county and everybody to manage homelessness. And if we ended homelessness, we'd actually save $41 million. And he's probably going to share information of that. But if we did the humane thing and really help people find permanent supportive housing, not shelter, shelter's not a home, although it's better than living on the street. But if we help people get into a place that they could call home, we could save money. Easier said than done because of housing shortages and challenges all over. But what we did learn is a couple of best practices around the country. And so we looked to a model in Orlando, Florida, which had cut their street homelessness in half in 3 years. And how they did that is they got the community together, business leaders, government leaders, everybody at the table, because this is not something government can solve alone. And so we pulled together United 10 Homelessness. We have a leadership council. We have folks at the table, including the nonprofits, faith leaders, government, et cetera. HUD is at the table, and learned about what was working in other communities that we could do better here. And one of the things we learned is that in many communities that had really made a dent, besides the builds that the housing champions and we all need to be as supportive of getting new projects built and all of those roadblocks taken away. But there is an opportunity with a vibrant landlord incentive program. And although landlords have been involved in pockets with maybe an individual nonprofit, there wasn't a vibrant program for landlords to be part of it and be part of the solution in a positive sense versus, oh, I feel like I have to take somebody with this housing voucher. And so we looked around the country, we found best practices, and we created Welcome Home OC. And Welcome Home OC is a landlord incentive program. We now have 65 landlords. If any of you are landlords and you could own one unit, a condo, and I'll give you an example of that in a minute. But we have companies from William Lyons Living, Irvine Company, large companies, Schroeder Management has been a phenomenal partner in this, to folks that maybe have a fourplex but want to do something to help. The beauty of this program is that it's the ultimate win-win-win. So how somebody, and I don't know how much everybody knows, but there's a coordinated entry system of who is eligible for a voucher. So there's a HUD evaluation system that the nonprofits do to assess somebody who is homeless. And based on their acuity, based on where they are, they might qualify for a housing voucher. Before this program was launched a couple of years ago, before we launched it, it would not be unusual for somebody to have a voucher, somebody that's homeless to have a voucher, going door to door on their own, trying to find some place that would rent to them. But they don't have a first and last month deposit. They don't have furnishings. They don't have probably good credit. They don't have all of these things that makes them an appealing tenant. And it's really hard. And many, many vouchers expired. And that's just a crime, because vouchers are really valuable. If somebody has been deemed that they are chronically homeless, meaning they've been homeless for a year at one time, or over 3 years, a year in total, and they have a disability that they are not going to be able to, take care of themselves in a traditional way, is they can be eligible for a voucher. And again, these vouchers were in many cases expiring. And so what Welcome Home OC does is, we have the landlords to be part of a positive program. We provide the first and last month rent. We have a damage mitigation fee. We will pay for furnishings if needed, the move-in costs, et cetera, and 1 year of supportive care. So there's case management for this person. Now, not everybody can live in an individual apartment, but as I sit here today, and this has been now going on with a pilot and all that, no more than a couple of years, we've ended homelessness for 329 people in Orange County through this program. And I think that's pretty amazing. And that's just getting started in terms of what we can do, together. There are 400,000 apartments in Orange County. So there's never, even at a 3% occupancy, which, occupancy rate, which, or vacancy rate, I should say, which is normal in a really good market. There are apartments. We just need the landlords to know about the program and work with us to give it a try. After this period of time, we're 93% successful, and we've cut the wait time down, or the lead time for somebody with a voucher, down to 45 days, which is pretty amazing. People used to go a year trying to find a place to live. So it's really been a super successful program. My call and action to all of you, if you know apartment owners, have them contact us to see about getting involved in this. They get their rent's guaranteed by the government. And again, it's a wonderful program knowing you can help somebody be successful. So that's Welcome Home OC. I'm going to share one really great story about this one because I love this story. I was telling the story, maybe not to a different group, but with a small group. And this was a group of donors of ours. And there was a gentleman whose mom had just moved into assisted living, and he and his brother had her condo in Fullerton. And he's like, I was going to rent it, but why don't I do it through the program? So he took a chance. He's getting his full rent. And it so happens that these two sisters who are seniors who were homeless, and their story of how they became homeless, and you'll learn a lot from David, that you probably already know a lot of these things, but many people become homeless because they lose a job. So their income is cut, whatever it's happening right now, obviously with COVID. They can't pay their rent, and something else has happened in their life, and they kind of spiral. These two sisters had elderly parents. One had lung cancer, one had dementia, and they moved in with their parents to take care of them, and they were both holding part-time jobs. The father took out a reverse mortgage, and when the parents finally passed away, these two sisters had developed some of their own health issues because they were in a stressful situation as well, and ended up with no funds and lived basically homeless, motels, street, family, et cetera, for 8 years. And through this program, they both, because they had gone through and gotten assessed, they both were eligible for a voucher, and we were able to put them into Matt's mom's place. So is this the coolest story ever, I think, because these two sisters have a place to call home. And Matt has this joy of knowing he helped end these women's homelessness, and they've become friends. So again, great stories all around, but I just want to let you know there is a solution to homelessness, and that is finding homes, and that's what we do. Again, there's a lot more to be done, but that's what's happening with United 10 Homelessness. So if you want to learn more about that, United 10 Homelessness, the Homelessness 101 classes, if you didn't attend it before, we offer them regular basis. They're all virtual now. And then again, I know there's a Housing Champion program that some of you might be attending in the near future. So those are things that are happening. And I wanted to also just share that we weren't immune to what was going on in the pandemic. So what I was just talking about is kind of our ongoing work. We have United for Financial Security and a lot of programs. How do we help families be financially stable, and what we say move from surviving to thriving? Body of work there. We have a body of work around student success, and how do we help a student graduate not just academically, but physically, mentally, technology ready for this next chapter in their life. We have United 10 Homelessness, which is really about helping end homelessness for the chronically homeless. And I have story after story on that I can share with you about different populations, foster youth, et cetera, that is going on. And all that's continuing. We've pivoted a lot virtually, but because of the pandemic, we knew we needed to do more. So in March, whatever that fateful day was, March 13th or Friday the 13th, whatever day it was, we knew this was going to hit, and was going to hit the low income folks, the people struggling the hardest. So we did start a pandemic relief fund, and we were blown away. This is still going on. Because we're not out of the woods yet, of course, as you all know. But we actually have over $6 million pledged. The community's been so generous, and it's come from $5 to $500,000. So it's been a combination of companies and individuals and foundations. And we've turned those funds into two different kind of programs. One is we went out with Amazon Web Services and developed a really easy way for helping people receive $500 emergency assistance. And those are people that could show that their income had been impacted by COVID, and that they were obviously low income as they started off. So we opened this up to nonprofits across the county, I think we've had 57 or 59, 55, somewhere in there, nonprofits that have partnered. And then we also help some directly through 211 that weren't already working with case managers at a nonprofit. So this was something we offered around the county. And as I sit here, this says 7,444 households, but it was this morning, 7,695 households we've helped with $500 emergency assistance. And it might not sound a lot, but this is money that's being used to help close a gap in rent. It's putting food on someone's table. It's not meant to be like government support, but this doesn't have all the strings attached. Somebody's shown that their need, they work with their service provider, they let us know, and we're able to get these cards to them normally within a week. So it's been a pretty amazing collaboration between, again, a charitable community, a really generous community to help, as well as the nonprofit community for helping steer to us the people that need help the most. So that's been going on. And then in addition to that, we have funds that we'll use from that pool for food banks. We've helped both food banks. We've helped, the Waste Not, which is an organization that ensures that food isn't being wasted and all of those things. So we've helped the food providers here in Orange County. We've connected students with technology. We've done a lot of other things with those funds, but it's been an amazing journey. Obviously a lot more to be done, but I wanted you to know that that was out there because I think some of you might have heard about that. Anyway, so that's what's happening as we speak. For those of you interested in getting involved, and again, just thank you for listening to me tonight. Again, you can just learn about the work we do. The studies, like David Snow's study is on our website. You can learn about different parts of the programs that we do. So just learn about what we do. And if you want to advocate and help, like on Housing Champions, you can learn all that on our site. We have an amazing volunteer effort going on, and some are virtual and some are in person if people are up for doing it in a socially distanced way. But we always have volunteer activities that are happening. Obviously, we survive on donations. We start over every year. We raise money from scratch. So anything along those lines, we would never turn away a donation. And then you could learn more. You could come to events. And these are a couple things coming up I thought you might be interested in. If you're interested in one of those topics like financial security or student success or homelessness, we have 3 update sessions, and those are coming up, and you can go on our site and you can learn about those particular programs, and you'll hear about the work, you'll hear about the success, you'll hear about the very specific goals that we're working on. Those are coming up in April. And then we have one really kind of fun event for the community, and that's our Women's Philanthropy Fund breakfast. And that is, this is at May 20th is the date coming up. And again, in this virtual world, there's no cost to participate in either of those. We want people to come and learn and hopefully fall in love with the work we're doing and want to get involved. So those are some different ways to get involved, as well as we do have affinity groups. We have donor circles and folks who care about the community and care about working together. A very vibrant women's group that has a whole wellness theme going on. So you can go on our site and learn about Women's United. And then Alexis de Tocqueville is our major giving circle group, which is an extraordinary group of people who just care about the community and trust and know that in this transparent world that the United Way operates, that, we're making the most and biggest impact with their philanthropic dollars. So those are different ways to get involved, and I am happy to answer any questions, but nonetheless, I hope I didn't bore you all, but I just thank you so much for listening.
That was amazing. We do have a handful of questions from the chat. The first one comes from Helen Marr, and it's an easy one. I'm totally being sarcastic. For now, there's a moratorium on rents. What happens when it ends. Renters will owe a bundle with no way to come up with it quickly, and landlords may be stuck for mortgage payments. How do we help both sides of this conundrum?
So I can talk about the rental programs right now. I'm more aware of right now that there are rental assistance programs that are being started by the county and by different cities. Some cities have already started, and so there's a lot of things rolling right now. And so I would stay tuned. But what the last stimulus bill that happened in December, there was monies that went from Treasury to the state to the county, and certain large cities could have money come. And so there's different programs that are going to be offered on rental assistance. So on that one, I feel there are programs coming, and very, very quickly in terms of Orange County. Now, it's not going to be helping everyone, but we also think there's going to be additional funds coming from some of these other programs. I am not right now sitting here and knowing exactly in terms of the mortgage, but I'm happy to learn more and get back to you. But I would stay tuned, and I think you're going to see some, it's not going to be, it's not going to solve everything, but there is help coming, and coming very quickly for renters.
Awesome. Janet Henry wants to know, for the students, how do they get connected in order to join the program? So like the ones that were like getting the support for the computer program and the graduation support, how did they get connected with you guys?
Yeah, so what we did is, in this particular case, we had some targeted schools where how we normally have looked at our work is where we've looked at graduation rates and where there's a disparity. So everything we do has a very much a equity, trying to understand the greatest needs. So the schools right now that are primarily part of this were high schools that were graduating more of the 85% versus what's going on, let's say in Irvine, where they might be graduating 98% of their students or higher, versus schools that are graduating more on the 85. And our goal is, how do we close that gap, right? That disparity. So primarily the schools that are part of this particular program are schools that are in Santa Ana, Anaheim, Westminster. I think there's some Garden Grove, but it was done in a very data-driven, closing those gaps. That's how it was done.
And we had a question from Kathy Udovich, who wanted to know, with Welcome Home OC, what happens after the first year? Is there hope they will get a job and be able to make their own payments, or is there some other part of the program?
Yeah, so everybody who is housed in the program that gets a voucher pays what they can pay. So they can pay based on, they might be getting a disability check. Maybe they're getting Social Security, they're getting something. So there's a percentage that they pay towards their rent. If somebody's been given a voucher through this, they've been gone through this assessment and have been identified as being chronically homeless. So again, they might be able to have jobs, but they wouldn't be jobs that would be self-sufficient wage. Those vouchers, as long as they are a good tenant, can last forever. Those are HUD vouchers. And so somebody is a good tenant, it'll pay whatever that percentage is, 70%, and then the person would pay their 30%. And as long as they're abiding by their lease, that would last. The 1 year I mentioned is about the supportive care, and that's hopefully with the case management for a year that somebody's worked through so that they're going to be able to live on their own. And then that's a service provider. We fund a service provider, a nonprofit, to do that case management. They could continue on with that if that is appropriate based on their own funding streams. But the goal would be that that person wouldn't need that case management after a year, but they could stay housed if they do a good job.
And along those lines, do you often give vouchers for like people to share a space? Like the sisters were sharing a space. Could it go up to like multiple people if they were willing to share a space? Or is it only like one person per voucher per space?
So the voucher, so they're normally like for a household, right? So if that person, so of those sisters, probably one of them had a voucher and then they were able to move in together. But let me just say there are 4 housing authorities in Orange County, and they all could have a different rule. So we're not the ones making the decision or who has the voucher. It comes out of this central system that the housing authorities, are able to use those vouchers. So we know we are given who needs housing, who needs help, and then we find the place for them. So if they come and say it's a family of 6, we'll go to work and find an apartment that'll will work for a family of 6. If they come and say this is for a family of 2, whatever, or a single, and many people are single, but that's how it's driven. So somebody's letting us know we've got the next one on the list that has a voucher is, a family of 3, and we'll find the right place. And they might say they need a lower level. They need to be on a first floor because of a disability. They need to be North County because of a job. We work with them and understand those parameters. I will say, and I think this is a very cool thing in Orange County, we're working really hard to be one of probably the few counties in the state to end veterans homelessness. And we were on our way, I think, in a really good way as a county to do that before the pandemic hit. And then obviously things slowed down in terms of getting referrals from the different agencies, but that's picked back up. But I do think there's things that we can do that Orange County can have some wins around veterans, maybe within a year. We can do a lot on former foster youth, and that really touches us all. We actually have developed a program last year on former foster youth, and we're HUD exemplary best practice in the country. Because of the community coming together and using every voucher that was designated for foster youth. But again, the housing authorities are through that coordinated entry system are coming to us and saying, here's who has the vouchers and you house them. And then we find the units. We really need landlords, so we have the flexibility to house whatever.
Interesting. Janet Henry wants to know, do you ever partner with organizations like the Salvation Army to find permanent housing for people, or?
Well, they're a terrific organization. So we work with a lot of service providers that are doing the supportive care. So in terms of working with again, we normally are trying to work with landlords to find the units. So, but Salvation Army is building has a big development going on in Anaheim. So hopefully they'll be able to take a lot of folks in vouchers. So we're housing people that have vouchers that are for a scattered site model. And there are projects that are built, those are built like what Salvation Army is doing, that are project based. And so then folks, like group of people, would live in the same place, and that would be a different type of voucher system, if that makes sense. But we need it all. The beauty is we need it all.
Ragumather wants to know, which school districts are you working with in South Orange County?
Right now we're working with Capistrano, and that would be because we started this first South County program at RH Dana, and I know Palisades is getting involved in that as well. So we just are starting the school programs in South County. I'm very excited about that.
And we have one last question from Barbara Casillo, and we get this question actually a lot. When we see a homeless person, where should we tell them to go for help? Like, what should be the first avenue of help?
So one, and I think you've probably heard this from other folks, is that the best thing is to, ask their name and, acknowledge them, because a lot of folks don't get acknowledged. And I think that means a lot. 211 is still the best number for folks to go, because inevitably somebody in the system knows who that person is for the most part. And the cities normally have contracted a service provider, like a company organization, like a CityNet or somebody who has people that are outreach people that are learning about the different homeless folks and building that trusted relationship so they can help them move into an appropriate next step. 211 knows who all of those are. So I would say the best thing would be to connect them to 211.
Thank you so much.
You're
Well,
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you very much. I know we learned a lot about your programs, and United Way, Orange County United Way is helping so many people. So I'm sure you can take such pride in that and making such a difference. So we really appreciate the time you spent with us tonight. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all you do and for being interested. So come to check us out on the website and get involved. But thank you. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Sue. And I just want to add, because I used to work for HUD, it stands for Housing and Urban Development. It's one of the federal cabinet level agencies that takes care of housing. When, of course, we have a president who cares about that, which hopefully now we do. So thank you very much, Sue.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm going to hopefully share my screen. And I will be able to get back on here. Yes, thank you. So now we're going to move into committee reports. And the first one is from Janet Henry. So Janet, take it away. Unmute yourself. Hello, Janet.
Okay, there we go. Yes?
Yes, great.
Okay. Just to remind you tonight, and if you look at the map, for Katrina Foley, this election is underway already because people have received their ballots at home, and you're going to look and go, we don't live there. Yes, but I bet you have friends and relatives and coworkers. So if you'll kind of look at that map, and if tomorrow you could give them a buzz somehow and have them send in their ballot, plan on going to the polls. That the actual poll is on Tuesday, March 2nd. And here are four things that Katrina are her priorities. COVID relief and expanding healthcare. We're all about that. Helping local businesses thrive. There we go. Addressing homelessness. Well, we just heard all about that. And then permanent housing and protecting the environment. And she had a couple of others, but just some things to realize that those are things that we support as well. And it would be wonderful to get a second Dem on that board. So Katrina Foley, District 2, vote now. Thank you very much.
And I know Katrina's campaign is still doing needing volunteers. So you can go to katrinafoley.com and volunteer. And I know they're doing various activities, telephoning, texting. I think they may still be doing some writing, I'm not sure. But we had a big effort here a couple weeks ago. Some volunteers did over 950 postcards for Katrina and paid for the stamps themselves. So we really appreciate that activity. And this is more information about her campaign that was in the newsletter. So we pass that along as much as we can. And ballots were mailed on the February 8th, and the voting centers open on February 27th. And the election is March 9th, so it's coming right up. Okay, Anne, Owen, do you want to tell us about Homeless 101, which fits right in with our previous speaker? Anne, are you on? Unmute yourself. Hello, Anne.
They're waiting on me, sorry.
All right. So I bet most of you didn't realize how much United Way does for everybody. Raise your hand if it was new information.
Yeah.
So we are going to be offering you a chance next Tuesday on the 23rd. Canyon Dems is co-hosting a Homelessness 101 free class from 6 to 8 o'clock through Zoom. And tomorrow you should be getting an email sent to everybody that will have the link where you can sign up. And I highly recommend, this is a 2-hour class. I've taken it twice now. I highly recommend it. We actually, Andy and I, Alexander and I actually hosted one 2 years ago at the Norman P. Murray Center, and everybody was extremely complimentary when they left. And we had Republicans, we had Democrats, we had MPPs. It's a completely nonpartisan presentation. that will show you all, I think, dispel all the misconceptions people have about what homelessness is about. And as you can see, you know, the pictures tonight that Sue is sharing, there are people like you and me that have had something unfortunate happen in their lives and they just need to step up. And so this is a wonderful way to just get some basic information about it. And then in March, we're going to also be offering a advocacy class. I always can't say that word, where it's going to tell you how to go to your city council and talk to people and things of that sort. But this is just a basic class that is wonderful to take for just general information about how homelessness started, what are the actual truths about it, using that UCI study that Sue mentioned, and what are the best ways to tackle it. So I encourage everybody to sign up. There's no limit, and we hope to see you there next Tuesday.
Thank you, Ann. This is really a great advocacy thing that Ann and Andy took on for our club. And I know that they were very active in Lake Forest in getting that new project underway. So hopefully at another meeting, Ann, we'll have a report on the progress, because I still don't see the building changing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, nothing's happening yet.
I was actually going to call about that sometime.
Yeah.
I think COVID kind of held them back.
Yeah. Thanks, Ann.
Okay.
Okay, Marty, you need to unmute yourself and talk about fundraising.
Okay, fundraising. We had a really, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, we had a great time the other day with our Valentine's Day car parade. We went to a couple of homes, we made a couple people happy, and we raised $150. And then we all went back to Melora's and socially distanced and had some real in-person talking, which was very lovely too. That was the bonus part of it. We don't have another car parade planned, but we do have some other things that I'll talk about in a second. We do also have our sustaining donor program. And so far this year, 68 members are contributing a little extra if they can. And we've raised $2,375 just this year. So I think we're on track to do very, very well again. I mean, fundraising is what we do because we want to be able to give as much money as we can to as many candidates as we can and get as many Democrats as we can elected to offices all up and down the ballot. So that's why we're here. But we're going to get back into balance on the vernal equinox. And so on March 20th, we're going to do a wine tasting. It's virtual. The cost is $65 per household because we can't charge per person because we don't want everybody drinking 2 bottles of wine all by themselves. And Melora, feel free to jump in at any time. Melora is my co-chair. So for that $65, you're going to get 2 bottles of wine. We have a sommelier who's going to be coming and giving us a wonderful lecture and walking us through the wine tasting as we go. We'll be live via Zoom with all of your friends. And then we have some other special bottles of wine, and you'll get a ticket for a chance, a raffle thing included in your $65. And if you'd like to get more tickets than that and increase your chances, they're $5 a piece. If you can't come to the Zoom, but you want to be part of the raffle, you can just go on and get a ticket or 2 for $5 each for that as well. Melora, do you want to talk about our sommelier?
Yeah, first I want to shout out to Ann and Andy who turned us on to this. They did one of these with the Philharmonic group and said it was really a good time. So I did talk to Mitch, who's our wine guy, and he's fabulous. And he actually works for an Italian winery. So we're going to probably go with Italian wines. We could have it our choice of whatever we want to do, what area, whatever. We thought that might be something because that's his specialty. And it's also maybe just a little bit different, something that we're not normally used to. So everyone's going to get, he's going to talk, he's an expert in this, and everyone's going to get 1 bottle of red and 1 bottle of white, and we're going to work with him to choose them. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a drive-through pickup for the wine, because it costs a lot of money to send it out. So we'll have you pick up your wine a few days before. And if anybody can't make it to that, we'll make other arrangements to maybe come by my house or the club tubers, and we'll leave it there. So it should be a really nice event. We hope you'll, and I'm not the biggest wine person, but hey, I'm all in for something fun like this. And it's a little bit different. We haven't done it, but they said it's a great time. And I appreciate the help from Ann and Andy. And I hope you'll all join us, because it's going to be fun. So thanks.
Thanks, Melora and Marty. Okay, Ann, you want to come back and talk about membership?
Yeah, I'll be real quick. As you can see, we have a total of 273 members. Actually, it's gone up about 4 or 5 today. And of those, 61 are new. So we welcome the new members who have come in. But we still have to have 211 people renew. So you should have gotten a letter from me last Friday saying it's time to renew for 2021. And actually, we've had quite a few people sign up since that letter. So thank you for doing that. And if you haven't, you need to go to canyondems.org and find membership, click on renew, and you can sign up with either Act Blue, or you can print out a form and mail in a check to our post office box in RSM. So we really want to get back up into that 400 range for our membership, because all that money goes, we're saving it, because this isn't over, folks. We got a lot of more, we have a lot of people to spend it on in the future. And now is the time to start getting that money in to build up the coffers again, so we can help these people in the future. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ann. Okay, Andy. For political action. Andy Alexander, are you there? Unmute yourself.
Me. Okay. I just want to say that there were 63 messages left at the Lake Forest City Council tonight.
Yay.
Messages. I don't know how many were for and how many were against, but I'll find that out tomorrow. So I want to give a huge shout out to everyone, the Lake Forest Focus Group, and also all of you that supported us in this effort for community choice energy. Thank you so much. You rock. The focus group idea came to light probably right before COVID last year, and everything changed the way we did business after COVID hit. Obviously, everything's been by email. The club developed Lake Forest as the first focus group, probably a trial run city. And as you can see from the slide, our primary purpose is to unite folks within our own cities that are like-minded and want to know about local issues and actions that can be taken, which is what's happening tonight. We also want to encourage the exchange of ideas and build a list of potential candidates, yay, for our local offices. The focus groups welcome everyone, regardless of party affiliation, and we encourage you to invite like-minded friends, family, and neighbors to participate. As you also can see on the slide, our focus groups leaders are as follows. In RSM, we have Patty Ebel. In Laguna Hills, well, tonight we have Ann Owens, but we're actually looking for someone to lead that group. Ann is stepping in tonight because she's very knowledgeable about Laguna Hills, because she's been working with the Canary Group at Tapestry Church for their homeless outreach. In Mission Viejo, we have Walt Lawson, and in Lake Forest, myself. So with that, let me throw it back to Louise to send us to our breakouts.
Well, I got to tell you, I am very excited about this, because I can really see how it's had an impact in Lake Forest. And if we can duplicate this in the other cities, we're a hold of something really exciting. So at the end of the meeting, we'll go back, we'll open up breakout rooms so you can get together with people from other cities as well. Okay, so Ken, you want to give us the treasurer's report? You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ken Johnson, the treasurer of the club. I want to say that it's been last year was a banner year. We did really well at supporting candidates throughout the scale, local candidates in the cities nearby, Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita, and so on, and national candidates for our Congress, and even state Georgia candidates were supported. And boy, it was a good year for those things. The local candidates really got noticed, didn't always just pull it through, but we are there to support them. And that's the whole idea behind this. And so this month, the month of January, which this report is based on, is generally, it's just like, okay, let's finish up 2020. And fortunately, a non-election year, I get to be a little bit easier for me so that I don't have as many federal and state filing requirements. So this is going to be a good year. And these are always the years that we need to basically stockpile money. We have some candidates that we wanted to start getting on board, like the Gary Pritchard, and we have given some money to Katrina Foley, but we have to start stockpiling for next year. We really do need to support our local candidates. With that being said, we ended the year at $10,879.55, which goes against our previous chairman, Gary Kephart, and grades a little bit on Louise, who wanted to spend everything. Louise actually was pretty good, but Gary wanted to spend everything. So we ended up with 10,000. Memberships, we're doing great on memberships. We're still bringing in more people all the time, 1,075. Sustaining donations. Well, we've had one of our members that was outstanding in helping our sustaining donations. And you know who you are out there. So that is a good program. I mean, if people do the recurring, it really does have a source of even revenue across the year. And that's something that really has helped our club out a lot. As you could see, well, merchandising is just a face mask. Face masks have been one of our biggest items, and I think they're going to be around for a while, unfortunately. And so our expenses basically just postage, fees on collections and so on, and the Katrina Foley donation. So we ended the month of January at $11,285.65. We're currently, as of now, at around $13,200 approximately. So we're doing well, and I know that this year your support of this club has really made a difference to our local area. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken. And we're so
I'm gonna interrupt here just for a minute because apparently Barbara Schulman has something to say. Barbara?
Hi, everybody. I'd like to say thank you to all of you raising money and everything you do. And you definitely helped me out 2 years ago when I ran for school board in Saddleback Valley. And I'd like to announce that I am going to run again in 2022.
Yay.
So I want you to know that, yes, I want you all to fundraise. No, that really wasn't it. I said, you guys truly, truly are an amazing group, and you do help the locals as much as you help the people in Georgia and Katrina and the big ones, and that's great. But you really do help us small people. And I just want to say thank you. And I thought while he was talking, this might be a good time to announce it.
Thank you.
Barbara, nobody with a heart as big as you could be a small person.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, Ken, anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barbara. We're thrilled that you're doing it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to do these focus groups. And as you could see, we have a person who's designated to kind of organize things for Mission Viejo and Lake Forest. We're looking for somebody in Laguna Hills and Rancho Santa Margarita and the Canyons. Oh, we have Santa Margarita, I'm sorry. And so we have the canyons and sort of grouped together Ladera Ranch, Las Flores, and Coto, because somehow in the back of my mind, I think they all touch each other. So what's going to happen is that you're going to go into this room, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. You'll meet the folks from your area, so you can kind of go around the table and introduce yourselves. You're going to hopefully talk about issues and problems that are important in your area that you want to sort of say, can we work on these things together? Or what could we do that would make a difference in our community, besides find candidates, because we need candidates in all of these areas. So hopefully our whiz-bang communications team can open up